Never discriminate as to whom you study and whom you trust. Never trust anyone completely and study everyone, including friends and loved ones. This book is actually something else, man. Holy shit. I don't know if I can read this book, dude. I haven't even read the first chapter yet, and it is wild. I can already see why it's banned in prisons, and I've only read the intro. I mean, this book literally tells you how to manipulate others, and it kind of makes sense as to why the techniques work. With that in mind, let's get into it. Welcome back. Today we are starting a new book. It's by Robert Greene, and it's called The 48 Laws of Power. More like the 48 Laws of fuck someone over. I've heard a lot about this book, so I'm very excited to read it. I'm going to read passages from the book and share my thoughts on them. If something else stood out to you that I didn't mention, then drop it in the comments. If you're new here, welcome, welcome. This channel is dedicated to growing our minds through reading and discussing interesting shit. Now hit the like and subscribe button and let's begin. The feeling of having no power over people and events is generally unbearable to us. When we feel helpless, we feel miserable. No one wants less power. Everyone wants more. In the world today, however, it is dangerous to seem too power hungry, to be overt with your power moves. We have to seem fair and decent, so we need to be subtle, congenial yet cunning, democratic yet devious. As a great Renaissance diplomat and courtier Niccolo Machiavelli wrote, any man who tries to be good all the time is bound to come to ruin among the great number who are not good. That's very interesting. To some people, the notion of consciously playing power games, no matter how indirect, seems evil, asocial, a relic of the past. They believe they can opt out of the game by behaving in ways that have nothing to do with power. I mean, shit. What if someone doesn't want to play this game of power? What if we agreed as a society to not play this game? Wouldn't the world be a better place? But is it possible for the world to agree to such a thing, even if the whole world agreed? As long as there's a few who don't agree, then everyone will be screwed. It will literally be like the movie The Invention of Lying with Ricky Gervais, where everyone gets taken advantage of. It's just not possible because there will always be some who are deceptive. So there's not much value in pondering that idea. We therefore have no choice but to play this game. Unless of course some truly have no interest in power and are happy to just get by, even if they get walked over. If the world is like a giant scheming court and we are trapped inside it, there is no use in trying to opt out of the game. That will only render you powerless, and powerlessness will make you miserable. Instead of struggling against the inevitable, instead of arguing and whining and feeling guilty, it is far better to excel at power. Yeah, cannot really argue with him here. He's really not holding back, is he? I mean, he's telling it like it is. The world is a scheming court and we have no choice but to play. Okay, so now he quotes Mr. Honoré de Balzac. There are no principles, there are only events. There is no good and bad. There are only circumstances. The superior man espouses events and circumstances in order to guide them. If there were principles and fixed laws, nations would not change them as we change our shirts. And a man cannot be expected to be wise. And a man cannot be expected to be wiser than an entire nation. Change our shirts, nice. I mean, yeah, there is no objective good or bad. There are no objective universal principles. We have the free will to create our own definitions of those, and historically they've been horrendous for the majority of people. Think history, think Middle Ages. But what we have now in a lot of countries is pretty damn good when compared to the past. Power requires the ability to play with appearances. To this end, you must learn to wear many masks and keep a bag full of deceptive tricks. Deception and masquerade should not be seen as ugly or immoral. Deception is the most potent weapon in the game of power. Okay, get ready for this next line because it's funny as shit. He literally says, practice luring people into traps. Yeah. Alright, let's move on. If deception is the most potent weapon in your arsenal, then patience in all things is your crucial shield. Patience will protect you from making moronic blunders. Like mastering your emotions, patience is a skill. It does not come naturally. I really wish I had read or heard, and most importantly, accepted a message like this when I was younger. I was so impatient and sometimes still struggle with it. The part about mastering your emotions is also really relevant to me, but we won't talk about it now because he talks about it later on in the book. Power is essentially amoral, and one of the most important skills to acquire is the ability to see circumstances rather than good or evil. To be fair, he's not wrong, but I would only agree with him if we were discussing power as a trait or in a definitional way. But people with power should be moral, or at least not be immoral and pretend they can't see good and evil. The reality that humans have created is far from perfect. The world is split into two camps of people: those with money and power that have control of their time, and the remaining 99% that spend most of their lives working for other people and not really being in control of their lives. However, it's also not all bad, and it can certainly be much worse. You only have to look at history to see that. I don't want to talk about this too much because I'm going to make a video about it one day, which I'm really looking forward to. That being said, the 99.9% can make it into the other camp. It's not common and it's incredibly hard, but it can happen. This suggests that the people with power are not completely immoral, as they do sometimes distribute a piece of their fat juicy pie. Half of your mastery of power comes from what you do not do, what you do not allow yourself to get dragged into. For this skill, you must learn to judge all things by what they cost you. Perhaps you will attain your goal, and a worthy goal at that, but at what price? Never waste valuable time or mental peace of mind on the affairs of others. That is too high a price to pay. The part about what price you'll pay for attaining your goal really hit home for me. That's something I've been thinking about a lot. Trying to achieve something comes with sacrifices, unless you're really lucky and win the lottery or something. The question is, how much are you willing to sacrifice? You have to find the balance between achieving your goals and not regretting too much. I don't even know if that balance exists though. Regarding the last sentence, I think the word never is too strong a word to use, because at times we should spend time on the affairs of others, if those people are loved ones or friends. Maybe it's hyperbole, in which case, if it is, then I generally agree with him, just didn't like the word never. Power is a social game. To learn and master it, you must develop the ability to study and understand people. An understanding of people's hidden motives is the single greatest piece of knowledge you can have in acquiring power. It opens up endless possibilities of deception, seduction, and manipulation. You must also keep one principle in mind. Never discriminate as to whom you study and whom you trust. Never trust anyone completely, and study everyone, including friends and loved ones. Okay. This book is actually something else, man. Finally, you must learn always to take the indirect route to power. Disguise your cunning. Your moves must be planned and developed in the least obvious way. By training yourself to be indirect, you can thrive in the modern court, appearing the paragon of decency while being the consummate manipulator. Oh, that was just the intro. Make sure you stay tuned for the next video in chapter 1, because it only gets better or worse, however you're interpreting it. Talking about interpretation, let me know in the comments what you think about what he said and also about what I said. I'm so curious to know how other people think about this kind of stuff. Now hit that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so I can see you later. Until next time, keep growing.